Man podcast coming to you. MALE man coming to you. Talking about Minnesota internet. If you don't like it, you can go to hell. Mailman podcast coming to you. MALE man coming to you. Ooh.
All right, here we are on the Mailman Podcast. That's M-A-L-E man, men after legitimate estrogen-free masculine approaches to the nowadays. I'm your host, Dick Colin, and today I'm reminded of a time when I was on my Gixxer 750 many moons ago, and I was on one of those back roads as one does in the middle of the night, and going way too fast for comfort. And coming around on one of the bends, I don't know, I hit some dirt, something, I don't know, whatever. The back tire swung out from underneath me, caught the road just enough to flip me over end to end. And I remember hitting the ground. I saw the headlight go right by my head. And somehow survived it. Was able to put the bike back together with the guest I'll bring on in just a minute. And... So the next day, we get the bike in the truck, we take it off to a friend's house, and the next day I remember waking up on the couch feeling like absolute crap. I'll be able to cuss in about 10 minutes when YouTube allows me to. And so damage-wise, I think I ended up breaking the tip of my left pinky just a little bit. And then in my pocket, I found the end of the brake lever. From the motorcycle. So when I was flipping over end on end, apparently when I saw my headlight go by my head, it was right next to it, because the only way for that to be in my pocket is for that thing to have broke off in there. So I guess the moral of that story is, push the limits, and the universe will let you know when you've hit the max there. So you will survive. Get out there and be man. That being said, I'm about to bring on a manly guest for us to talk to, who was there on that fateful night, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about that.
When a man tossed to another man, we call it a man discussion with men and Malaysians.
All right, and here we have on the Mailman Podcast, we're just going to call him the Bogey. And the Bogey was with me on that fateful night. I don't know if you remember that. You are actually on, by the way.
I don't remember that.
Really?
I don't think I was there that night. I think you were out with a couple other people in the group, because I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah, I was with the Dan, but you were there for the repairs.
Dan, yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were definitely there for the repairs. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that was going to be so loud. That's my mug root beer. That's Mug Root Beer, no caffeine, who I'm not sponsored by, but would like to be. So Mug Root Beer. I drink it.
It's Mug Root Beer.
But yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the story.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying that you had your lever break off in your pocket, which is kind of crazy because that's a lot of force. I mean, it's
the only explanation I have for that.
That's an aluminum brake lever.
Yeah.
And your pockets, obviously denim or whatever you're wearing at the time.
I'm pretty sure I was fashionably denim.
Yeah, denim from head to toe.
Oh, yeah, head to toe. I had the fur on the top.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I don't think I was going as fast as they thought I was going. But maybe.
How fast did they say you were going?
They said I was definitely over 100. And maybe
it could have been.
I don't think I was going that fast, but I mean they were with me, so they would have an idea. I don't know. I mean, when I did wreck, it was pretty horrific, like speed wise. Like, I mean, I went end over end, like, I don't know, probably like 15 times.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You mean you're flipping, not the bikes?
Both. Yeah. And it was, I specifically remember when at one point I saw the headlight just buzz by me, and, you know, at the time I didn't think it was that close, but that must have been the time where the lever broke off.
Yeah. Or somehow. Imagine if you could just replay that. When you get to heaven, you're going to have to ask,
Yeah.
hey, can we go back to this one scene? Because how did this happen?
Yeah. All right, boss, listen up.
Yeah, I got some questions.
Yeah. Like, certain things don't make sense here.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, so we you helped me put that back together, and we basically cut off the end of the exhaust there, and it was just a piece of sheet metal, right? Like,
well, you had the titanium
originally
Yoshimura slip on.
Yeah.
And we had to cut. Well, we didn't have a way to cut the titanium because it was so
titanium.
Because it's titanium. So we ended up using. I don't know if Dan helped. We got a piece of polished stainless, I think,
what it was.
and rewrapped it and riveted.
Yep.
Into like a shorty can.
Yeah.
And then that's what you had on there.
Yeah.
After that.
It sounded great after that. Like.
Yeah, it sounded a little bit less. Yeah, because the other one was. It sounded good, but everybody wants the straight pipes.
Yeah.
On their car or bike.
Man, those are the days. I love that bike, man. That thing was it was perfectly, like, fast for normal riding.
Oh yeah, that was a quick bike. So much faster than mine.
Yeah. Well, we did. Was it up the sprocket and so could wheelie it, but so that added a little bit.
One down, two up.
Yeah. And then because we were able to max it out after that. So what road was we were on, like, one of those really long roads, and we maxed out both of our bikes, I think. And it read
I don't remember.
Yeah, it read like 185, but because
what? When was this?
maybe I'm mistaken, like, these times that I was doing all this stuff. But it was,
I don't remember. I mean, it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, so it was flickering. So that was it. That was the max it was going to go. But that was after we had adjusted the sprockets. So
okay.
It was probably like 10 or 15 off, but still I was going pretty fast.
So there's a joke. There's a running joke that I see on some of the bike, like not the forums but the bike group pages and stuff, and they say that the 600 rider thinks that he or she was doing 170 or 180. Well, not really. It's adjusted. Yeah. The speed's not correct initially, and then too, we did do the sprocket thing, so that's actually bringing it down even lower. So we might have been doing about 150.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere in there, which is still pretty fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, from what I remember, that, like, after you hit like 110, it basically it looks the same.
Yeah,
So.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like, I think round one. Whatever's not normal speed. So 110, 120. You know, after that,
110
you're
is
going
definitely
so
the cutoff
fast.
for not normal speed.
Yeah. Well, because you can do 80 or 90. I mean, I did today. I went down the back road, and I know I at least broke 120 passing a car.
Yeah, but now
in a passing zone.
So back then you're on the 600, but nowadays, why don't you tell the folks what you're riding?
So now I have a 1299 with pretty much this is double the horsepower of what I had in my Gixxer 600.
Yeah.
So I had a 04 Gixxer 600 back in 04, and then of course I think the horsepower on that was about 80 or 90 maybe.
Yeah.
It might have been actually less than that.
But they weighed nothing.
It was fast enough. Yeah, no, they weighed 300-400 pounds.
Yeah.
But my bike now actually weighs a little over 400, so it's twice the power in the same weight body. Now I weigh more, so I weigh like probably 50 pounds more than
those
I did in high
Kawasaki's would feel
school.
real nice on that stomach. If they're still designed like that, they had that nice like flat design.
Oh well, yeah. The Ducati doesn't care.
Yeah. Oh man.
But, yeah,
so
man.
so what? Okay, so I know the appeal for me for that bike, but what was it like? That's the bike I want.
Okay. So if you remember back in the time frame when we bought our bikes, which yours was a 05, right? So 04, 05, Ducati had a bike out called the 999. And more specifically, I liked the 999R because it, I just remember seeing photos. It looked cool. It was one of the top bikes along with, like, say, MV Agusta. I remember Aprilia was sort of, these are all like Italian or European bikes that were way too expensive for high school kids to afford, right? So at the time, the 999 was out, and I think that sold it from 03 or 04 up to 2006. And then they had another model following that, but I just liked the look of it.
Yeah.
So, you get older. I had the Gixxer. I sold the Gixxer years later, and I didn't ride for a while. And then I said, well, I kind of want to get back into riding. And of course, now I'm making more money. And I said, well, what bike would I want? And I just thought, well, maybe I could get another Suzuki or something. Maybe I get a Yamaha R1 because I like the sound. It has a cross plane crank, and I think sounds pretty unique and whatever. So anyway, I was looking different bikes. Well, I went into a dealership this is back in St. Pete, Florida, and they had a Ducati. It was a 959 Corsa edition, which was like the raced out version of its regular 959 bike, but it was like special graphics and Olin suspension and maybe different wheels or something. And anyway, he started up in the showroom, and it just was so loud, and I could feel it in my chest. And I was like, man, this bike sounds pretty nice. So I was like, okay, that's what I want. I want something like that. But I knew I didn't want the 959 because for the price, it was almost the same. They basically wanted the same price that I paid for my $12.99. So I looked for about the next 6 months to a year, and I had in mind what I wanted. So here's another interesting part of how I got that, which was basically, I told you that part, is I was at a dealership. They started up, and once I heard it, I kind of was like sold. Yeah. So I figured I wanted a low mileage bike. Somebody had already put all the mods on, which was basically just exhaust and levers and rear sets and everything like that. And maybe it had it tuned or whatever, but I didn't really care about the tune. I just wanted the exhaust and a couple things, right? Well, so I go into a dealership just near me, walk in, and as the fates would have it, lo and behold, I was looking at the bikes in the showroom, and I just looked online either the night before, and I saw a bike that was a special edition, whatever, and I think they wanted, I don't know, 25,000 for it or something. I wasn't going to get that one. I just wanted to go into the showroom and look and see, how I like the bikes in there. And they had one traded in the day before. It wasn't on the website, and it had everything I wanted. It was low mileage, so I had like, I think 4,000 miles. It already had the exhaust. It had rear sets. It had levers. Everything was like high quality stuff, brand new. And it was clean, so I was like, "Oh, okay, that's the bike I've been waiting on." So
that's just like what I was talking about with my story there. The universe will, give you what you want there.
It did, yeah. That was
the universe was basically you need to slow down for me, but for you, it's like you need to speed up.
Speed up, yeah. I was going too slow. For years, I didn't have a bike, and I wanted to get back in the saddle, so to speak. Yeah. So. So I ended up buying it that day, and I had to go buy a helmet because they didn't even have a helmet. I couldn't even test drive it because they didn't have like a spare helmet You know, they're like, oh, we got one. And it was like, it was in the back, all dusty. It looked like it had mold on it. I was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Not
So
putting that on my
I
head.
actually drove over to like a Cycle Gear or something like that, bought a helmet, and then drove back and got the bike, did a little test ride, seemed fine.
Nice.
But there's more to that story too. It doesn't end. But anyway,
Right.
so that's how I ended up with the bike that I have now. So I have the bike now. It's sitting at about 16,000 miles, and I ride it almost every weekend that I can.
Nice.
Because where I live now is beautiful roads, mountain roads. So it's like a dream.
Sorry, I got this wind. It's like that's what that sound is.
It sounds like you're either doing donuts in your car.
It's, that's the rednecks outside. Just tearing it up.
You're in Texas. Get her done.
Get her done.
Get her done. Get it, Rufus.
Yeah, but it's
Ain't scared.
But yeah, it's so we used to watch. I haven't been able because I've been for the past decade no TV essentially. But
Preach.
MotoGP, man, like we used to be really into that, and like I don't know what the hell's going on nowadays. Like, have you been keeping up with it?
MotoGP. I watch some of the AMA stuff. Like I think I just subscribe to it. So when the race is on, whatever YouTube channel I subscribe, it'll pop up and I'll watch some of the races. So I usually watch the leader bikes and then I'll watch MotoGP. But man, Rossi has retired. So he was kind of like the big deal.
Yeah.
He was.
I remember that.
He retired a couple years back.
Yeah,
I think I think it's almost been 2 years. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we used to watch him and Matt Mladen and
AMA,
Ben Spies. And there's a whole bunch of
Spies,
other names.
I think towards the end there, he had switched over to GP, right?
I don't remember. That it's been so long. It's like I said,
think he might have
20 years.
Yeah, because
he was all those guys. I think if they were good, if you're, excuse me, if you're good in the obviously in the superbike class or whatever, then you can go to MotoGP. But I don't know. I think when I didn't have the bike, I just wasn't watching it. So never kept up with it.
Well, the games are, I mean, they're almost realistic, like at least the way that it looks. Like it's incredible.
Probably now. I mean, again, another funny thing is I don't have a game console, so I don't play any games anymore.
Oh yeah.
I would just play with you guys back in 20 years ago.
Well, was it Killer Instinct, man? That was the
Killer Instinct. Gran Turismo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gran Turismo. Yeah, because
what else? Mortal Kombat or something.
Yeah, but you were more Killer Instinct. Like you were like impossible to beat.
I don't know. Pat was very good.
Yeah, but I think
Pat
because
would kill me every time.
You would have. He had it at home though. You didn't have it at home.
I did not.
So,
I had to play with you.
Yeah, so I think
that's
the difference there.
I just remember going to Pat's house one time, and it was like impossible to beat him no matter what. I was like, dang, dude. He wouldn't even let me win. I think unless he just set the controller down. He's like, oh, you can
sandwich.
Go. Like, yeah, probably. Yeah, I think at one point he was blindfolded.
Yeah. He's like floating in the background.
No, but yeah, I do remember that. He seemed like he had a lot of stuff. And who was that after that? Joey? Did he have something? We were going to.
Yeah, so Pat had the Jaguar, and then I guess what the hell was that?
It was a Jaguar.
Okay.
That was my terrible attempt at a Jaguar sound.
It was pretty good. So he was the one that had the Jaguar. Matt had the 3DO, and that's when I was playing Road Rash all the freaking time. Road Rash 3D. Okay.
That must have been it.
That game was amazing.
That was the only game he had?
I think it might have been the only game he had. That was the only one I played.
That's all I was like. Hey man, how do I play Road Rash?
Yeah.
And he's like, here, let me get it set up for you.
Yeah, I want to get a Steam Deck at some point, and hopefully I can get Road Rash on there. Cause
dude, you're doing more burnouts. I can tell.
Yeah, I know. talking about road rash right now.
Yeah. Not only are you podcasting, but you're doing donuts.
Yeah.
Like you're drifting.
I'm
Drift
live.
King.
Do donuts in the old pickup truck.
Yep. Those are easy to do too.
Yeah,
There's no weight in the back.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just slide it around. Yeah.
Plus, it's the old like handle drive, so it's super easy to switch it back and forth.
Have you done donuts in the snow yet? In a parking lot?
I want to. Though. I want to do it with that sound.
Jeez.
Right there.
Yeah. That'll be. Well, it won't make that sound because you won't actually get
I've
rubber
literally
on
no
the
way
concrete.
to fix that. That's just the way it's going to be tonight, I guess.
Because
it's so loud.
It's probably
it's deafening.
It's got to be a vent tube somewhere.
Yeah, it's on the outside though. So and it's part of the apartment. So.
But where does it vent to? Your kitchen hood?
No, I think it's because there's a lip for like the balcony, and I think it's actually hitting that at a perfect angle, and then coming back and hitting the windowsill.
Really?
That's my best guess because I looked out there and that's the only thing I can think of, is that it's just perfectly hitting the angles here.
Well, for anybody listening, that's you got quite a storm front coming through your area right now. So
yeah, exactly.
it's like let me go switch over to the
Weather Channel. Yeah.
Was
it that?
Check the
what
weather.
was that site that you sent me? Because that was way better than trying to watch or trying to figure out the stupid
Yeah,
Weather Channel website.
So this just randomly popped up, but I don't watch the news legacy media anyway. And this YouTuber called Ryan Hall, he has a channel called Ryan Hall Y'all, and he just seemed like he was short to the point. Got through the weather for the nation, and it also seems like when there is a disaster, he sends out people to help, or he collects money and donates and
okay, nice.
all that. So I was like, okay, cool. So he seems like a good guy, and I think I don't know if he has kids, but I think he does. So family man. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'll watch his channel because I don't want to watch the news, my local news anyway. And I use, the weather apps on my phone. So, but yeah, if I want any projection, he kind of pulls up I think it's the GFS models that, I think anybody can get to them too. But yeah, he goes over everything and in 5 minutes, you kind of know what the weather's going to be for your area. But anyway, that's how I knew that you were having a tornado as possible in your area, because I watched it yesterday.
Yeah. So
there it is.
I just pulled him up. Yeah. Ryan Howell, y'all. Yeah, so it was so much better because trying to navigate.
He lives in Tennessee or something.
Okay, but trying to navigate
way.
The Weather Channel website, like they don't know what the hell they're doing on there. It is not intuitive.
Well, there's so many ads and stuff. I don't know.
It's also designed like a government website. It's like you
terrible.
can't update this to be like more like an app.
Yeah,
I don't understand. So
that is weird. Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this, but at least where I was at the time for the weather app, it was like I feel like it got COVID because after COVID, like it did not know what the weather was going to be like. It was completely off all the time. So it'd be like, it's not going to rain today, like at all for the next month and a half. And it's like, no, it's raining for the next month and a half. Like.
Well, all the meteorologists were working from home, so there was no work being done.
There's a lot of tomfoolery and cheating going on for sure.
yeah, they were not wearing any pants. Mm-hmm. They're wearing the suit top and the shirt and tie, but no pants.
The green screen in it. Like, look at my junk, y'all. Wait, I think we're past 10 minutes. We can cuss now. Look at my dick, y'all.
Photoshop on some pants. Cock balls. Fuck.
They got the Lululemon pants like we were talking about last week.
Oh yeah, with the junk pouch.
Yeah.
Well, because now I don't know this, but which pants have that like seam in the back that you can like lift or separate or whatever for the ladies? I know that's a relatively new thing. Because it's like if there was any question before, well, within the last 5 years, now you go to the gym and And there is no question.
Wait, so there's a seam in the back?
Yeah, I don't know if it's built in or whatever, but it's definitely like it would just be like I imagine it's like a permanent wedgie.
Okay.
That's what it seems like to me, but you know.
Well, I'm gonna.
I don't know girls that wear those. I don't know any girls that wear a dress like that. Okay. So
I'm gonna try to find
a little
this
bit more
picture
modest.
Of let's see, it's probably workout gear. So I found these men's Lululemons because we were like, do they make men's Lululemons?
Oh yeah, they do, but they're just not
definitely do
skin tight. I know Devin has some.
Oh, they do have some skin
well,
tight
he doesn't.
ones.
He must have the regular pants, the khaki style, because
tights. There we go.
Yeah, he's not wearing tights that
Hang
I know
on.
of.
There's one picture in particular. I think it was this black dude here. Let's see. Is it this one? One of them had a really particular angle.
Oh boy.
Here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's see if I can.
I can only see the YouTube.
Yeah, I gotta pull it up here.
Okay.
Hang on. Let's see.
Yeah.
And Jesus, man.
So you're saying it's something?
I can't turn my mic down because then you can't hear me. So
Yeah,
all right.
true.
So there's that. So let's see. Get 15% off. We don't want that. All right. What we do want is this angle here. There he is, the handsome
piece.
fella here, and there we go. That's what your bosom, not bosom.
Okay, but those aren't.
bottom
Yeah,
is
those
gonna
aren't
look
doing
like.
what I was talking about.
Boop. Wait, here goes. There it goes. Boop. And then the crotch shot. You got to get your hog all bunched up. That's what that's for.
Was that Stefan that said that?
Yeah. So that's Lululemon.com. I'm not sponsored yet, but I will.
Yeah, but they're going to
your
sponsor
product.
you
Let's
eventually.
do that. Lululemon.com.
Are you the typical Lululemon customer?
Sure, why not?
Oh, okay.
I
so
want to
you
get
were
my
asking
hog
the
all
other
bunched
day.
up. So,
Weren't you asking the other day how they got the name for Lululemon?
Yeah, do you know?
And I don't know if this is true. I just heard
We'll just leave that
through
picture
either
up there.
TikTok or Instagram that I think the original whoever came up with that was like, we don't want a certain race to be able to say our name. So imagine Ruru Remen.
Oh my god.
I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard.
mean,
So
I wouldn't be surprised, but either way on that one, I think.
that's kind of like that. Kind of reminded me of remember when Abercrombie and Fitch
Is that how you say it?
would only make clothes a certain size, and they're like, well, we don't want
Big people.
we don't want fat people wearing our clothes, basically. So that's why you couldn't get anything over like an XL. I mean,
wait.
who's that?
Jinkos,
Lane Bryant and Torrid or whoever makes clothes for larger women, plus
I wouldn't know
size.
anything about that.
I don't know. I don't do any shopping in there.
Yeah.
So
the lights are usually off during those moments. So, I try to keep it incognito, as one does.
as your just like your web browser.
Yeah, exactly.
Incognito. Okay, can we change it? Can you just pull up a picture of the Ducati 1299
Yep.
so I don't have to look at this guy's junk? Because if you're watching the YouTube channel, you see this guy's crotch.
That's going to be the background from now on.
This is supposed to be a mailman podcast, but I didn't know it was like all mail review.
$12.99. All right. Panigale. Gale?
Yep, there you go.
Is it Gale or Gale?
However, an Italian would say Panigale.
Now you have the red one, right? What year is yours?
They make either a black one or a red one, basically, and majority of them are all red.
All right.
They have yet to release. Like, okay, so back in the day when the 999 was out,
before we get into that, what year is it so I can pull it up?
it's 2016.
2016. Okay.
Yeah, they're all the same from 15 to 17. So for 3 years they made a same body style. So yeah, I wanted a 17 because there was like one update to the software, and you could basically get a track mode, like a drift mode almost, where you could slide into turns. It was called Corsa mode. But the one that was there, the one that God provided me, didn't have that. So
Yeah. It's the
I guess
better
I
one.
just got to ride normally now.
There we go. Right. Boom. All right, let me see if I can.
There we go. Yeah.
Oop.
Yeah, that's it.
Here we go. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. But anyway, that's it. Yeah, it's a beautiful bike, man.
Yeah, it's not
And it
really.
sounds pretty good too.
Yeah, it sounds very. You have to hear it in person. There's no way. And this is why I'm saying when you ask me how did I decide on that bike?
Yeah.
Well, because I'd heard them before, and I think I went to a place called Eurocycles. Shout out to Eurocycles in Tampa Bay. They will, if they still do this, they will let you test ride their demo bikes. And one day I rode an S1000, Aprilia RSV4, the KTM 1199, and the Ducati 1199 at the time. This was back in 2016. And at that time, I was trying to think more like, what is basically the Gixxer 1000 replacement? So I was like, well, I kind of like the Aprilia and for the sound, and I like the S1000 for how it feels. But I really like the sound of the KTM and the Ducati because they both had that V-twin.
Yep.
I just didn't really like as much how they rode. And they were really hot. You know, the way you sit, the cylinders underneath your seat.
Your balls.
Oh yeah. So you if you don't put a heat shield on there or whatever, you get roasted.
Some roasted nuts.
So so anyway, but it had been years, and I went to that other dealership and I just heard it, and it just sounded so good in person. I was like, man, I gotta at least get this. I'll ride it for a while, and if I don't like it, I'll get something else. But you know, it's been fun. It's been very fun, and it's so fast. Like I can't use the. I have not hit top speed up here. In Florida, I did. I got up to one. This is with stock gearing, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But in Florida, I got up to 170 something, 173.
Dang.
On a back road. And then up here, I think I probably hit 140, 150 maybe max. Because there's a turn everywhere you look. There's a turn, so which is a blessing.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, man, the mountain roads are so fun. So it's totally different from Florida, and it's just I don't know. Yeah. It's kind of like you don't need a track day if you have kind of roads like this. I say so. That's why. That's why I like riding up here so much. It's a whole lot of fun. Yeah. You know, driving your car, riding your bike. If you're into anything performance or sporty, mountain roads are definitely fun.
Yeah, because when we're initially riding, like you're just stunting basically. Like that's there's not a lot of turns, and you got to go find those roads, and they're not exactly always like available. So,
well, there's few roads
without driving forever
north of Tampa in like the kind of like the Brooksville area, a little bit south of there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of roads that have turns. Now it's nothing like up here, but it is good for what Florida basically has to offer. Yeah. So so what?
Because we would just go out to baseline. And just go stunt out there, and that's it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, doing wheelies and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I don't
downtown
really
Orlando.
On
I-Drive.
Oh,
it wasn't I-Drive.
It was Orange Avenue.
Orange Avenue. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, back before the cops would just seems like they would swing by and kind of do their do their thing. Yeah. Like they'll just turn the lights on, say break it up, but they really couldn't stop you from parking.
That's so crazy.
But yeah, dude, we could ride out there and
like in traffic.
People would do wheelies. Wheelies down the road, and you'd have 100 bikes lined up.
That's so fucking nuts.
Kind of like a movie, but yeah, Firestone, that club was right across the street. Yeah. Which I don't know if that's been open since 2000s.
I think it renamed itself to Firestone by that time because it was Firestone back in like the early 90s.
Was it called Club Firestone?
Yeah, maybe.
Or was that just what we called it? I don't know. But
no.
I did go once in high school. I think it was with Marshall. I think it was actually with Marshall because he was hanging out with the raver kids. And I did go at least once with them. I don't know if I ever went back. I know you and I didn't go to that, but we did. We were down the street.
Yeah, we were at iBar.
At iBar,
getting those 50-cent well drinks,
which was cool.
Man, I can't believe they're 50 cents, dude. That was insane.
Dude,
like that was probably the cheapest liquor like on the planet. Probably go blind if we kept going there. There was a guy that was bartending, and I can't remember what time I was there, but I think I was with you guys, and it was a group of us, and I had a tab open or something. It was like I wasn't paying for every drink, so it was weird that he said this, but like he had served me already like 2 drinks or something, and he kind of leaned over and said, "Hey man, are you gonna tip me or something like that?" I'm like, what do you mean? I have a tab open. Yeah, but tip you. I just at the end when I close out my tab, you know. It was so weird because no bartender has ever said that to me. Yeah. And I don't know the guy's deal. I was like, what's this guy's deal? But I wonder if that was because
he's like, hey man, are you gonna tip or something like that? Something to that effect. Like he was still gonna serve me, but maybe he was just not gonna be happy about it. I don't know. Maybe he was new to bartending. Yeah, he's like, well, I already gave you so many drinks, and I think we were the group, and I was getting drinks for everybody.
Oh, that might have been.
And that's probably what it was because I wasn't tipping him cash. Yeah. And he's like, hey man, I already served you some drinks, and you haven't tipped. And I was like, oh, sorry, man. Yeah, I'll definitely tip at the end. I think I had an open tap, which is normal at the time.
Well, he's probably thinking about like if this guy bounces, I'm not going to get my tip.
Yeah. Well, and the drinks were, we were given a couple bucks for the drinks, so yeah. Anyway,
gin and tonics, man. That's when
that's on the club. That's not my problem that you guys did 50-cent well drinks, but hey, I mean,
we made it their problem.
make it dollar. Well, I think they did raise the prices later. It was like dollar wells,
like $5 now, but
dude, now
this is 20 years ago.
Yeah, 2000 would have been 2003 or 4, 5, roughly. In the early to mid 2000s. Yeah. Now I did go back later. There was I took a date there. Well, this was when was this? This was
because it was an independent bar, but we called it iBar, right?
This was 2012. I moved back from New York, so it was 2011 or 2012, and I was dating this girl, and we did go there in 2012, and it was still there.
Dang. Was it still the same vibe? Because I love that vibe. It was so awesome.
I don't.
It was like that. It was all 80s, like 80s music, but it was like it wasn't necessarily the exact songs from the 80s, but it was like, I don't know, somebody's mixing a little bit.
Music videos.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, now they had 80s night, right? Not every night was like that.
Not
right?
every. It was just that well drink night and Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
So it was like Saturday and Sunday. I think it was like that. And, that's right up our alley. We're growing up with that stuff.
Yeah.
But they always have the karate guy. Remember that dude? He's like dancing, but he's like doing karate.
Live?
No, like video? One of the guys on the dance floor. He was there every time.
Oh, dude, I don't remember
You don't remember that? Well, we were drinking quite a bit, so...
Yeah, I think in my life I might have went there 5 times. Dang. I mean, we went there a handful of times probably, and then
because I was going there like every weekend.
Oh man,
or something like that. Every other weekend, not maybe, but yeah,
I went with the group a handful of times probably.
Yeah,
because I mean, you had to drive an hour and a half. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy to think we drove that far just to get to some cool places to hang out
and to drive back.
And we had to drive back at like 3 or 4 in the morning. And here's what not everybody knows. I don't know if you guys remember, but I had to go to church the next morning. So I would go out with you guys Saturday, go to the bar, drink, get home at 4 a.m., lay down for like 2.5, 3 hours, and then my dad would be like, "All right, get up. It's time to go to church."
You gotta answer for your sins last night.
I know, I did. And one Sunday, I don't remember. Oh, I think it was one of Stefan's parties, actually.
Oh, man.
So Jonathan, my little brother and I, we went to a party at Stefan's, and we may have been drinking.
May or may not
and
be
then
drinking.
we may have drove home. And then also, drove home at like 2 or 3 in the morning. got up, went to church, and I was in church like ready to puke right in the aisle. And thank the Lord, he saved me. And I didn't, because now here's what was weird. I look back on that and I say, why didn't I just get up and go to the bathroom? Like if I was feeling bad, but no, I was like an idiot and I just sat there and was like, oh, I hope it doesn't come out on my, I just throw up right here on the back of the
collection
pew.
plate.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think John, he did get up and go to the bathroom because he was sick, so he did throw up. But I was able to hold it down, like just barely. I mean, literally, it was so close. Almost.
How his life would have turned out had you not.
I almost shamed my parents. Because what would that have been like if I'd.
Well,
he's drunk.
Well, if he did it first, you could just be like, "Oh, I can't handle the smell." It's because he did it.
No, he left. John, he already went. I think he went to the bathroom, and I think he did throw up.
Do they have toothbrush and toothpaste in there, just in case?
They did not. Nope.
Oh man.
Because if you go to church, you're not supposed to do that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, so another. Speaking of church and throwing up. I do feel bad about this, but it's funny now looking back. So I went on a chaplain's adventure
Really?
to France.
In the army?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And so we're on the tour bus and hanging out with the chaplain and doing all kinds of we're just like visiting and seeing the sights and stuff. And one of the nights we go out and get absolutely obliterated.
In Germany, right?
No, I think we were in France. I want to say this is Normandy, because we were going to go see the beaches and all that stuff. And,
yeah.
No, it definitely was, because that's where we went the next day, and I felt awful. And so we go out, and this would have been like just go to the bar, have a couple of drinks, and then go back. But we meet some ladies, some French ladies. Yeah. I've got a picture somewhere.
Some mademoiselles.
Yeah, of us at the table with all the ladies. And so we ended up drinking like way too much. And like, so we get on the bus in the morning. So I managed to wake up. And I remember my friend at the time, he had never seen the beach before. And so I was like super excited.
A beach?
Like any beach. Yeah.
Wow.
So the first
was
beach,
he from Idaho?
Yeah. So the first beach that he gets to see is Normandy.
The Death Beach.
Yeah, which is it's incredible. Obviously it doesn't look like Saving Private Ryan or anything, but like you can see like how far away it is. Like it's a distance they had to go. Like pretty impressive. So
the tide was out, I guess.
Yeah, probably at this time, but. Like even without, like it was
not only that, the cliffs, right? It's like you're not gonna get past that.
Yeah, but that's only on the one side there.
Oh, okay.
But the little pill boxes are still there, and it's like, man, that impossible, like unbelievable. But like so that's where we're going, and I'm like spinning on the bus. And and so I don't exactly remember how all of this plans out, but I do remember having to puke, and I couldn't make it to the window, and all I had was a water bottle. And I tried to at least like try to get it in there. It just kind of went out through the sides. just a little. Like I was able to hold it back enough to get from that point to the bathroom, and just exploded in the bathroom.
Oh wow!
And it was the worst smell. Like for the rest of the trip, dude.
On the bus though, right?
Yeah, but for the rest of that day of the trip, not the whole trip. And then after that, I did obviously feel better, but it was the dude next to me. He's like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck?" I was like, "I'm sorry." And they're like on the chaplain's adventure. I'm like, "Yeah, I feel like." Yeah, but younger days, man. Regrets. I got a lot of regrets. and that's one
Good
of
old
them.
days, huh?
But my
Yeah, I would
friend
not
got to
do
the
that.
beach, and that was a super exciting moment to take a picture of him on the first beach he's ever seen.
Do you still have that picture?
Yeah, I think I do. So I have a roll of film, not a roll of film, but the packet back in the day when you used to
Yeah.
go to the 1 hour photos or whatever. Actually, that might have been
Yeah.
before 1 hour photo.
No, it had 1 hour photo.
How long ago was that?
Well, so yeah, you probably had a disposable camera like I did. So when I was
Yeah, I
in
think it
AIT, I still have the photos from my AIT in a packet in my closet.
Yeah, so I've got them somewhere in a box.
But yeah, I don't know when our photo first started. Probably in the 60s, maybe.
Dang.
I mean, when disposable film, probably.
I remember
that's
having
a good
to
thing
wait
to look up.
like longer than an hour growing up. So, man, you know what? Let me look that up right now.
Look it up. You
What is
got the power of the internet.
Yeah,
sir.
right? All right.
Look it up.
Google, when was 1 hour
Photo
photo
invented.
available in stores specifically? Because it's going to bring up that movie. No, see, it's bringing up the stupid movie. What year
Was that movie stupid? I watched that recently.
No, it wasn't. It actually
With
I liked it.
Robin Williams.
I'm calling it stupid because it's getting in the way of my search here.
Yeah, that was a weird movie.
Yeah, it was really
I will
weird.
say I only watched it because I'm into photography, but 1 hour photo, and I was like, this guy. Wait, is this real? Is he hallucinating?
Yeah.
But I think it was he was a weirdo.
Yeah. Did 1 hour photo start? Oh Jesus! Not
Yeah,
the
who
movie. Can I say,
invented?
like, why doesn't Google, like, when you say like not the movie, like,
Yeah.
can it?
Oh,
Why
put
doesn't
a
it
curse
know
word
not
in
to do
there.
that?
When the F did was 1 hour photo invented.
Maybe that's right. Invented. I didn't write that. Maybe that's better. Photo processing history from photo booth to 1 hour photo. The first fully functioning photo booth. Oh, this is actually a history lesson here. And
Here we go.
All right.
Let the class begin.
Oh my God! Why does this look so big?
That's what
she said.
she said.
Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Damn it.
I'm gonna guess.
How long?
Sometime in the 60s.
Yeah.
60s or definitely by the 70s. I can't imagine them not having it by then.
In the mid 90s.
What? I was way off.
Hang
20
on.
years. Holy moly! So people were just.
Oh no,
now,
sorry.
Where did they?
Sorry. The 70s would have been the early days of it.
Okay.
Popularity would have been in the 80s and 90s.
Because I mean the average person could have had a film camera back in the 50s pretty easily.
Yeah, because you used to drop off though. Because I remember that. I remember dropping off a camera, and then you'd go pick it up in like a week or something.
Yeah, or if you had your DSL or your SLR, you would just take the film out.
Yeah.
And then drop off all your rolls.
Yeah.
Now, I do remember my parents dropping off film, and they could go back to wherever it was, Walgreens or Walmart or whatever. Excuse me. And they would look through the negatives, they would look through the developed film, and then the ones that were blurry or whatever they wouldn't want. So they would just set them aside and only pay for the ones that they wanted. So if you were a terrible photographer and you didn't know what you're doing, you could probably just keep a handful of pictures and then not pay for the rest of the roll, which I think is nowadays you definitely don't do that. But what's funny is back then it was probably just a few dollars for just for developing.
Yeah.
And nowadays I think I've paid recently $12 to $15, almost $20 a roll.
Yeah.
If you want it processed and scanned. Because there's a shop near me. I still shoot film sometimes, and there's a shop near me. Well, not near me, but in Pittsburgh, and they'll do it. But it's almost. I think it's about $18 to $20 a roll. Yeah,
But I guess
crazy.
It's a specialty thing now, right? Like,
It is now, yeah, because films get more expensive, and not everybody has a camera or wants one like that.
Yeah.
Because it's I think it's a fun process. I think anybody getting into photography should try it, because you get to appreciate how either good or bad things were back then compared to now.
Well, maybe let's talk about that. Let's see, pretty nice segue into that, I guess. First, which camera have you found to be your favorite? And I'll pull up a picture of that. That you actually use.
That I use? Okay, so
actually,
the newest camera,
even if it's one that you want, like whatever looks nice.
We'll go with the one I use. We can talk about both. The one that I have now that I think is pretty cool is the Nikon ZF.
Nikon ZF.
So yeah, Zulu Foxtrot.
Gotcha.
Nikon ZF, and it's a relatively new mirrorless camera. It came out a year or so ago, and
which color do you have?
I have the blue one.
Blue. Okay.
The indigo.
Ooh.
Yeah, paid an extra $100 for that.
It looks good. All right.
So that's the camera that I brought to Japan.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, remember that one?
So it
looks like a film camera.
I'm gonna pull it up on B&H.
Excuse me,
because I feel like
this drink.
They're a decent enough website. Use B&H every once in a while, right?
I do occasionally. Okay. I have used them before. I don't use them all the time. I use actually another shout out to KEH. They're in Georgia and they ship. It's about the same time. When I lived in Florida, they shipped almost second day air because they're so close.
Let me pull that up then. KEH. There we go.
Yeah, KEH. They have used gear, and I've purchased a lot of used stuff from them over the years. Now the Nikon I bought off Nikon's website because it's new, but some of the other cameras Nikon, I have,
they'll get plenty of people going to their site. So let's pull up this KEH. Yes, I'm human. There we go.
It's asking you the captcha thing.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Are you a robot?
Okay.
Now you can type in Nikon ZF in there and see, because I think they're selling for about $1,600 nowadays. Brand new, it was about $2,000.
This is lame. It won't let me scroll.
Weird.
That's weird. All right, let me try to pull up just a picture of it. But anyway, so I don't recall you being super into cameras, and then all of a sudden you were. So what the hell happened there?
So funny enough, you were actually a part of that story.
Okay.
you and Babs.
Oh yeah,
I can say that.
Yeah.
If I can say that name.
The old flame. Mm-hmm. There it is.
So somehow, So somehow I don't know if I was just interested in it or I had. Oh, here's what. Okay, so I lived in New York City at the time, and I was taking pictures with my point and shoot camera that I bought from B&H when I moved up there, right? So Scott said, "Hey, let's go to this camera store. It's called B&H. It's like the biggest camera store in New York City." So I was like, "Okay, well, let's go." So we did. We went there. I bought a Nikon Coolpix camera from there, and then I was taking pictures of New York City, and I was posting them on Facebook back then. So I had a couple people say, "Oh, hey, your photos look cool," or whatever. I was like, "Oh, really? What makes them good? I don't know. I'm just taking the pictures of what I see." And so apparently that makes me an expert. So I kind of looked into what the settings were on a camera, or how to manipulate the aperture and shutter speed and ISO and all that. Yeah. Yes, how to work the shaft.
and just cut all the balls.
Yeah, you gotta cut the balls. Yeah, that's exactly it. So anyway, I'd watched some videos on that.
I mean, it is kind of loosely. Sorry to interrupt, but it is kind of the same hand placement.
Yes, you got to hold the lens with one hand, and you got to manipulate the controls with the other hand. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, go on.
So, so then I think you got Babs a camera, the 50D,
Yep.
the Canon
Great
50D, and somehow she's like, "Hey, Ben, do you know how to set this setting?" Or she asked me a question about the camera. I was like, well, I don't know. Let me research that and get back to you. The classic Army answer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and I think that's what I did. I think I went home and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, and then like I came back over next time and I was like, okay, here's what you got to do. So, yeah, but I had already by that time used Devin's camera at some point a couple times. He had a DSLR.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got a couple film cameras to play around with. One from my cousin, and I think I bought one or something off, I don't know if it was off eBay or what, but somehow I got, and over the years I've had like probably 10 different film cameras just here and there. But yeah, so I started playing around with that. So that's kind of how I got into it. But this Nikon just got released, the one that's on the screen now. And it goes back to the retro styling of
such a good idea.
Nikon cameras.
So much better.
And the lenses that I have for it are a manual focus, manual aperture lens, a lot like an old film lens. It's very tactile. It's they're quality lenses, and they make them in the old style, but with the digital mount that goes on the new Nikon Z mount camera, right? For the mirrorless cameras. So it's like an old style lens, but this is kind of all like a retro, but updated with today's technology. So
this one is mirrorless.
It is mirrorless. Yeah. It has like eye detect autofocus. It has focus peaking. It has face detection, like I said, eye detection, and but you get to manually focus the lens and change the aperture and all the dials on top. You can manipulate just like a film camera from the 50s, 60s, or the 70s, stuff like that. So that's what some photographers enjoy. Now, you can do that as a hobby. So here's my experience talking. You can definitely do that as a hobby, but more rarely you won't see someone doing that at a wedding or an event,
right? Just
because you're getting paid and time is of the essence. There are photographers that will use a Leica camera, which is an old style where you can do the same, manipulate the controls and manually focus.
Is that why they're using it, or are they using it because it's a Leica?
Well, so from what I gather, they're using it because it's a Leica.
Okay.
There's something about the process they like, and as long as you're the photographer that will as long as your customers understand that things might be a little bit slowed down. And when I say a little bit, I mean like by seconds here and there. Like any new digital camera, you can pretty much point it in the general direction of what you want. The autofocus is so good, it'll focus right on their face or their eye, and you just fire away and pull the trigger and you've already shot off like 10 shots, right? And you can edit it later. Well, with the Leica and with some of these older film cameras from back in the day, you had to take the time, pose the bride and groom, and you had to click through your roll of film. Or in the case of the new Leica digital cameras, you go one shot at a time. There's not like a lot of rapid shooting with those. And you still have to manual focus that lens, right? So, so that's kind of it. So there are photographers that do very dedicated, weddings with the Leica camera, and they usually have a couple, but most of the time you're shooting Canon or Nikon, and you just got to blast through and, get the photos you need as accurately as possible. So, but the new cameras are great. You can't mess it up, basically. That's what I think anyway.
Well, I think it sounds like it's just a matter of the volume that you're going to need to use it for. So one of my, it's not the best movie of all time, but it's one of the one of the ones I like to watch is that Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah.
But the Ben Stiller one.
Yeah, we went to that town in Iceland, which I also took this camera.
Yeah.
So I took this camera to Japan and Iceland, and I used those manual focus lenses. But yeah, we went to that town.
Yeah, but like him, the actual photographer guy. Remember,
Sean Penn.
Yeah, and how he's sitting there and he's just waiting. Like I imagine.
Yeah,
like,
he has an old Nikon.
Yeah, and I imagine that would be a time where, if you know how to use a camera, like, okay, I'm not doing volume here. I'm looking for like the perfect shot. So.
Yeah. I think he had an old. I don't know if it was the F2 or FM2. He had an old one that I think they had taped up the logo.
Yeah.
Just because you can't show it, but.
Which is crazy because that would have been massive. Because that camera was on the screen for a long time.
Yeah,
like,
well, I think that's probably why they had to do that.
I mean, they should have just cut a deal. Like, hey, you want to advertise on our movie? Yeah, because that character was like an older style photographer anyway, so he would have been using old equipment. Because it was like he was one of the only ones still using film.
I think that's it. I think it's the FM. Is it?
Maybe. Let's see.
Was it FM2?
Let's pull that up. FM2.
Is it the titanium one? Oh, is it? Hold on. Google's doing the stupid thing where it's
Nikon FM2.
The F3T. I don't know if that was it.
Was it all black?
You know what it is? No, it is the titanium. So it looks like the Nikon F3T. I've had an F3 before, but I didn't have the titanium one. No, it's not all black. It's titanium.
Which
one is champagne color.
So it's a Nikon.
So it's the Nikon F3.
F3.
And then put a slash and then put 3.
3.
So F3T. That's what it says on the body. But yeah, it's a champagne colored, but it's a camera made of has a titanium shell, so it's lighter weight than usual. But yeah, it looks like that's what he has in the movie.
I mean, this.
And they made these. These are back from the 70s.
F3T.
Yeah, so he had covered up the Nikon name.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you can see it.
There we go. All right, so this is from Modern Classic SLRs.
Modern Classic.
Let's see what the website here is. MIR.com. There you go.
Mir. Oh, yeah, that's actually a pretty cool website. They have a lot of info on old film cameras.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was it. So you see that two-tone?
Yeah.
And he had like a 300 millimeter lens or 400 or something on there. Some big lens.
Well, this is like the back in the day. Like this is what people were buying.
Yeah.
So,
this was the pro camera for back then. This F3 was the big time.
Yeah. Man, it's definitely a good call for them to make the one that you have now look like these older style cameras. These look so much better.
Yeah.
This is a man's camera right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That hole might look mighty nice.
Look at that. Look at the size of that look at that size of that aperture. Think of the things you could put in there.
Yeah.
The lenses.
And how it flips around.
It's like
just tickling the tip.
Well, the mirror in there moves up and down, kind of like if you were flicking your tongue.
Kind of.
What are we talking about? We're talking about cameras.
Just lonely time on the toilet. That's all.
Yeah.
The little up and down action. Scroll on the phone. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. So if that answers your question, that's the ZF has been my kind of like my favorite new camera.
All right.
And then an aspirational camera, I think for many photographers, is the Leica M. Now the newest one's the M11.
M11.
And so if I get one, I debated selling all my
EICA, right? Like
LEICA, yeah, Leica.
Leica
M11.
See, these are interesting. They have a particular look.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And they've had that look for,
yeah.
since when did they come out with the the M3 is probably the most popular of their older style film cameras. But the they pretty much look the same.
Yeah, because it's really, really interesting, and they're so expensive.
Oh yeah, and if you ever shoot with one, you'll see why. It's like they're made of brass. They feel like everything feels solid, high quality. Like, so that one now, if you bought it new, I think it's $8 or $9 grand just for the camera.
Yeah, that's with nothing.
Yeah, and the lenses. So the lenses are another thing. If you buy, say, a decent 50mm lens for that, you're going to pay another. New. Yeah. $5 grand again. Jesus. $5 grand for the lens.
Okay, so I'm looking at this thing and I'm a little confused here. So, what is that? Like mini flash or something on the?
No. So
what is that?
The camera, the style of camera, the one that you were just looking at.
This is
the
well
F3,
out of my price range. That's why I don't know anything about this.
So the regular cameras nowadays you have a mirrorless camera. Mm-hmm. Before. That's why they call it mirrorless, because before mostly they had a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly. Well, these cameras are called rangefinder cameras. Mm-hmm. And that's the rangefinder window that you think is like a little flash there.
Right.
So if you Google an image of like rangefinder aperture or something, mm-hmm. See if that comes up.
Rangefinder aperture. Let's see.
Yeah, just see if that, because it's like the rangefinder window on the Leicas. Now, Leica's not the only camera company that makes a rangefinder, but most of them went away from that design because I really think the SLR was better. But Leica has stuck with their design, and they're not changing it, and they've stuck with it so long. And they've kind of made it.
Should I type in Leica specifically?
Yeah, just type Leica rangefinder aperture, and what I'm seeing if you can find is just find a picture of what it looks like to look through that viewfinder, that rangefinder window.
Let's see.
So you can kind of see
Leica window. Okay, let's see.
But yeah, anyway, so that's what makes them different. They're German made. Mm-hmm. Handcrafted in Germany. It's not Japanese stuff is very good, but it's definitely not a Chinese camera. Mm-hmm. It's made of brass, so it's very heavy. Like, it's a lot heavier when you pick it up. You're like, oh shoot, this is heavy. Yeah. And yeah, the lenses are very good. They're very sharp. Their optical quality is amazing. And the process of the older style, the slow, methodical process of taking a picture is, if you like that and say you like film cameras, what you'll most likely like this type of camera.
Yeah, but you'd have to really be into this, like to be spending that kind of money.
Yeah, to spend 15 grand roughly, or spend 20 grand. So you get two lenses in that camera. Well, you're 20 grand easy.
Damn. That's a real nice Rolex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Either that, or if you can get the thing is, you can actually go into the Leica store and buy an M11. You can't always go into the Rolex store and buy the Submariner, the GMT, or the Daytona, which is supposedly the hardest one to get. Daytona.
What do they call it? The Daytona?
It's just the name. The Daytona chronograph. It's I think one of the older Rolex chronographs had the word Daytona on it years ago. I don't know.
Okay.
I think that's why they call it. Now, so a lot of the watches have a nickname for Rolex. Yeah. Like, they kind of give it, there's a model number usually associated with it.
Okay.
But you can refer to it by that, or you can call it by its nickname or its model name. So, like, the Rolex Submariner is the most popular. Okay. But different Submariners have different nicknames sometimes.
Okay, and so that might be like the Nighthawk here. They have the Pro Master or something like that is what I saw for one of the names. But
yeah, well, so look up Google. So look up a picture of.
Oh, no dice on the rangefinder view.
Yeah, probably. It's to be a little harder to find. But look up a picture of say Rolex Pepsi GMT.
Pepsi.
Now the name
GMT.
Pepsi, it's called Pepsi because it has colors red and blue, but Rolex didn't give it that name. The fan base did.
Ah, okay, right.
So I still see the camera now, so you might have to move it over.
Seems like the
your window's not updating.
Oh, I haven't found it yet. So
okay. Look at Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi or something. It'll pop up. Should be right away.
All right. I think I found it. There we go. Boom. And you should be seeing it in just a second. There you go.
Yeah, so the original Rolex the original GMT that they made for pilots back in the day, they made for Pan Am pilots.
Okay. But
that company's not around anymore.
Yeah.
And the colors, I guess the colors for the Pan Am logo or an early logo had red and blue in it, so that's why they put red and blue on the dial. And it was for pilots that needed multiple time zone tracking when they were flying back and forth, I guess. So they could get this watch. It was a decent watch. And I mean, like maybe nowadays, if you're a pilot, I think you get paid pretty well. So you get the watch and, hey, you got a cool watch. And it's the company colors. And, you know, maybe Pan Am bought them for some of their pilots back in the day. I don't know.
I'm sure they did for their probably.
But nowadays, this watch
the veteran pilots been around for a long time.
Is for sale on the secondary market for about a little over 20, between 20 and 25 grand.
God damn.
Resale. Yeah. Now you can buy them from the AD. I think there's like 12 grand.
What's
something
the AD?
like that. Authorized dealer.
Oh, okay.
So when you go into a store that sells Rolex and they have the Rolex boutique in there.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah, you can get
the ones you can actually walk into.
yeah, you can walk in there.
Not the other stores.
Yeah. Not the other ones that you
need an appointment.
Do you take the water slide?
Yeah. Was that,
the
Simpsons?
Yeah, you swim up to the other ones, but these you can walk into.
Was it the Simpsons when he's like, no, you use that door, and it's like he had to crawl through like the dust filled like little tiny door.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you could get a Leica camera and some lenses, or you could buy this watch.
Okay.
This is what. Yeah. These are rich people problems.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
which one do I get?
Why don't I get both? Because it's only 40 grand. You know?
Well, it's interesting because this the blue and the red. It definitely makes this look not like a regular Rolex.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't for the face, like you would think this was a totally different watch. Just from the color,
Rolex fans,
which is interesting. So.
The Rolex aficionado, this is one of the most recognizable Rolexes in the world, I think.
Well, yeah,
next to the Daytona and the Submariner. Yeah. So number one,
let's do the Daytona.
Would probably be the Submariner.
Let's do the common one. What was it? The Submariner? What?
I mean, the more basic one is the Oyster Perpetual, like the day dates and some of those that are just kind of like the standard Rolex watches. But yeah, most people will go for the Submariner because it's popular.
All right, let's see the Rolex Submariner Black. Is that the one?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah, they have.
Let's see. Try to get a better picture of this. There's a green one.
That was a special edition. Before the one I got, they made the all green dial, green bezel.
Okay, let's see. Bob's Watches. All right, shout out to Bob's Watches. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, they need to sponsor the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to send you a watch so you can review it. That would be interesting to have you, a person who doesn't really get into watches that much, review like.
Yeah. Because I've had, I've had the same watches forever until this one. So
yeah, there you go. So that's that's definitely an older reference. That one's probably early 2000s. Yeah. I don't know.
So okay, so why does it only have, was that 15 notches there on the top right?
The graduate, yeah.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
So if you were to, I mean, way back before they made dive computers. If you were to dive back in the probably the 50s or the 60s or whenever these watches came out.
Okay.
You could go with a tank of air. I'm guessing. I don't have a dive license, but I'm guessing you have about 15, 20 minutes of air in your tank.
Ah, okay.
So you
That makes
rotate
sense.
this dial.
So this is before they had those little measuring things, probably.
Yeah. Before you had a digital dive computer that you wear nowadays. But you rotate the dial to where the see that triangle at the top?
Yeah.
Should match up with the minute hand.
Right. Okay.
And then as the minute hand counts down, the bezel's unidirectional, so it only rotates one way. So when you turn it the opposite way, as your minute count down, your hand, it will tell you basically, I guess, how many minutes of air you have left.
Yeah. Okay.
Therefore, the most basic timer for your diving, you say, oh, I got a tank of air, and then, it should last me about 15 minutes. So you go down there, and I'm guessing you get close to a few minutes, you better start coming back up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's it. So it rotates one direction, it turns left, or counterclockwise, rather, and then, of course, your minutes turn clockwise. So I guess the thought is that if you bump it on something, it can only bump in the direction of you having less air or less time, not more, right?
That's smart.
So you can't mess up. So if you were to go down there and you hit it on a rock or something, hit the edge and you're cave diving, well, then you look at your watch and you're like, oh, I thought I had 10 minutes and now I only got 5. Well, it's because you bumped it maybe. Well, either factor that in or you just go up early.
Well, this is probably better than the Skin Diver's wristwatch that I know about. So
Skin
diving. Yeah. Do you know about that one?
Skin diver. Oh, I've heard of skin diving before.
Yeah.
I guess that just means you go down with the tanks, right? No suit.
No, I think they go down with nothing, just air.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah. So, but the Skin Diver's wristwatch is where you ask somebody if they've ever seen one before, and in the meantime, you have your back turned, and you're putting your nutsack around your wrist. And then you say, "This is what it looks like."
I knew
I've got one right here.
Yeah.
And that's a Skin Diver's wristwatch.
Okay. All right. Yep, there it is.
I looked it up, and they were showing me watches, not that. So, or else I would pull it up on the screen here.
Yeah, you can't yet show nut sacks on YouTube, right?
I don't think so. I can talk about it.
Yeah.
But I can't show it on there. Yeah.
So,
Rolex.com.
Yeah, sponsor
me. Doesn't matter. Whatever watch. Whatever watch you don't sell a lot of that you're trying to get rid of. Let's do that one.
Oof.
And I'll promote that. Wait, let me pull up the Daytona and then what maybe you think the worst looking Rolex is.
Okay.
Daytona. Yeah. So think about that.
Yeah, if you Google Rolex Daytona, it'll come up with plenty of pictures.
Looks like
the most popular one right now is the white dial.
Okay, that's what I'm looking
Black
at.
bezel, ceramic, white dial, and those are I don't know what those sell for, maybe 30.
All right, Bob's watches again.
Bob's watches, yeah.
Look at that. It's getting some airtime.
Yeah, that one you had pulled up is an older. That one's probably 1, 2, 3 generations back from the current one.
Okay, this is a much better looking watch than.
There you go. Well, a lot of people seem to think so.
Yeah, the standard Rolexes they're not exactly pretty.
Yeah.
But this one looks like a machine. Like this one looks great.
Well, they're originally supposed to be wasn't really supposed to be pretty, but it's supposed to be functional.
Mm-hmm.
That's where have you heard the phrase tool watch?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they were using it for diving, I mean, it wasn't the dressy watch that you would wear to dinner or to your work or whatever.
Yeah.
It was just the one you wore on the weekend to go diving. And I think back in the day, there were, not say basic, but I guess they weren't, if you think of dress watch, you don't think of a Rolex Submariner. You think of, I don't know. I don't even know what is the modern version of the dress watch, but
yeah, I think when I think of a Rolex, I imagine like the gold.
Yeah, so if you
colored
pull
ones,
up what I
because
think,
when you go to the store, that's kind of the feeling you get.
what I think is the ugliest ones, personally, to me, are the two-tone. So if you Google,
Oh yeah, I know
just Google anything Rolex two-tone and see what pops up, like Rolex Oyster Perpetual two-tone or something, and that's what I think of as the old man, the rich old man watch.
yeah, because
where it's like
what I
silver.
associate Rolex with is like old man.
Yeah, yeah. It's
not necessarily rich old man, just old man.
well, even
Two-tone.
back in the day, I don't know. See, I don't have any perspective.
Because this is the style my dad liked. Because he had that Marine Corps one.
They always have these like
Let's see if I can
loose
get,
bands, and they're all kind of crappy and jangly.
yeah. All right, here we go. Bob's watches again, so we'll give him some more shout outs.
Yeah, Bob's.
He's getting it on tonight.
Yep.
It's probably run by a chick.
But what's weird to me is, I mean, Rolex now, they are.
There it is.
I mean, I know there's other brands that do
that's hideous.
stuff better.
Yeah, so this is what I think of Rolex.
Yeah, something like that. And that to me is not a pretty watch.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Does that even have the fluted? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so there you go. Classic two-tone. I mean, even if you were to get one of those new now, you'd still pay a decent amount because it's gold.
Yeah.
But I will say the quality of Rolex has vastly improved from 20 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, big time. Everything about their watches now is solid, precise quality. I mean, it feels, it sounds, it works. Like the timing is very accurate for a automatic watch, which still doesn't. Quartz watches are the most accurate that we have so far, I guess, unless you have an atomic watch or something.
Right.
But quartz is very accurate, and that's why these watches now are kind of just like jewelry for men. So because they're accurate, but I mean, like in a month you might lose a minute or two of time. It won't be. You can't really time stuff long term, and because they're perpetual motion, like they move, they wind with the motion of your wrist.
Oh, right.
So as you walk or as you move around during the day, you're kind of winding it because there's a rotor inside that powers it. But it's all mechanical, and it's got basically a spring that's wound up, and the tension in the spring winding powers the watch, right? And it will, nowadays you can get 70 plus hours out of your watch if you wind it up fully. Back in the day, it might have been a day, a half a day. Somebody you have to keep winding it or keep setting it,
Okay, well that's definitely improvement on that.
I don't know for sure. I don't remember. I just know some of the older watches had a 30 or 40 hour power reserve. So you could get a day out of it, but you'd have to put it on a watch winder, which would rotate it for you to keep it kind of powered up, or because they didn't have batteries and they're not quartz. So it was just the mechanical movement, which is really cool if you're into that mechanical type stuff.
Yeah, I think if you were like opening them up and exploring, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at the movement. So Google.
What's like that
Google
kinetic watch I have.
Yeah, just Google, like, you could stick with Rolex. You could go to any other brand.
Might as well just do Rolex since we're there.
Look, A Longanzona. I don't even know how to spell that, but that's a beautiful watch.
Rolex?
So there's a brand. It starts out with like A period Long and Sons. I think it's
Lang & Sons.
Well, yeah, like I think it's French or something.
Lang
or maybe it's
Sone.
Long and Sona. I think that's what people say it.
Okay.
And here's where you got to say it. Like, somebody that knows about watches in the comments would be like, "This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about." But,
all right.
But hey, it's a beautiful movement. So
I definitely don't know what I'm talking about. So.
If you look at the back of some of those, those watches.
Anyone in particular, or all of them?
Just if you type in that name plus movement, something will come up. That's pretty.
Datograph.
The datograph. Yeah, that's a good one. Sure.
Okay. Here we go.
It has a big date window at the top.
Dang.
and two dials. Or two
I'm going to
chronograph dials.
grab this one.
But yeah, the movement, the case back's see-through, so you can look at the movement in the back, and it is
Dang, that looks freaking cool.
beautiful.
Yeah. This is like looking at a painting almost.
Hey, you see the blued screws, you see the jewels,
Why is it?
you see the perlage or
Yeah, I'm pulling this
the
up
metal
now.
turning that they do on each piece. Polished
let's look at this
edges. I mean, there's a lot
This
of
is
time that goes into
from-
those.
What site is this? This is from
There you go.
Blogger. Timeandwatches.com. That's where that's from.
Yeah, so look at that. I mean, that
That
takes
is
some time.
incredible.
And I don't know what those watches cost, but I'm sure they're way more than the Rolex.
Well, let's see if there's a price tag on there. This is next to Tag and H.O.R. And Omega. And well, they're so expensive. There's no price on it.
Well, Bob's Watches has the
Yeah,
price.
Bob's Watches. Where's Bob's Watches?
That's Bob's
Okay,
Watches.
so if you want a used one, that's not even that cool looking. It's just like a pretty standard watch. 135 grand.
Goddamn!
Yeah, and I'll show you which one that is. It doesn't
See?
even look cool at all. Like,
See, I mean, I don't know if there's that much,
This-
but yeah, that's what those watches go for.
This one,
that is
this one,
amazing.
that's 135 grand. Looks like the one of these like clocks I bought for my mom in Germany, with the little moon thing in the bottom.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the moon phase. Yeah, that's what that is. It looks like a smiley face.
yeah, it does.
It looks like the teapot from Beauty and the Beast or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong because I don't watch those movies.
No,
but
was it? I think it might have been Beauty and the Beast. Maybe.
yeah, just that's the first thing that came to mind.
I don't know. Disney,
Man, I
Disney
didn't
kinda
think we
messed
would
up
get
the,
this far
the planet
on a watch
as far as
tangent.
movies go. So
So that watch is 130 grand.
135 grand.
Oh, okay, and it looks like that's probably also a gold case, like an actual.
Yeah.
I want to say solid gold, but whatever they make them, 18 karat or 20, whatever.
And this,
I don't
mean,
know.
this is probably also like an older one that they don't make anymore. So like it's gonna have that value to it.
Right. Yeah, and they're all handmade in probably Germany or Switzerland or wherever they're made. I think that's German watch.
I mean, the cheapest one that I can
Lanzona.
see is 60 grand. So
yeah, so a lot of stuff that comes out of Germany, watches, cameras, whatever, cars, expensive, right?
The craftsmanship on this other one.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get a close up here. I think this one. Yeah. Let me see if I can get this. This is much better. I mean, this, you can see everything on this picture, like the tiny little screws in this thing, man.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh man, it is. So there's a YouTube channel that I watch a couple different ones, and they will. It's just like, so it's a hobbyist watchmakers, and they, I guess in their spare time, they will take apart these watches, clean them, put them back together, fix any or repair any parts that are damaged, and man, it is like you got to use not a microscope, but like a huge magnifying glass just to see all the little parts and stuff.
Do you remember what that YouTube channel was?
Well, there's one called Wrist Watch Revival. Try and say that 5 times fast. Wrist watch revival.
I can't even say it one time.
Yeah, right. I had to say it slow. Wrist watch revival. And he will take old watches from 30, 40 years ago that they obviously see his channel and they say, hey, this is a family heirloom, or this watch belonged to my grandfather. Can you bring it back to life? And he'll clean it up and do his thing and fix it and replace the gaskets and
Seattle YouTube star.
Yeah, there you go. Wrist watch revival.
See if I can get to his.
But yeah, find one of the videos, skip to about, like 5 minutes in where he's really kind of getting into disassembly, and you'll see all these tiny little parts,
Let's see.
It's pretty neat.
Oh, that's somebody else. Somebody else has their head on the table trying to fix a watch. It looks like they gave up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's see if I can pull this up. I should be able to pull it. Oh, I got to get past the ad.
What? I thought you had premium.
It apparently not on the computer here.
What?
Okay, here we go.
Oh, you're not logged in?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, you have it, but you just probably not
So
logged in.
that is at 19 seconds. All right. So let me pull this up. Should be fine.
Yeah, just scrub forward and you'll see there's...
All right. I think I can do sound on here as long as he's not doing music. Should be all right.
No, he doesn't.
All
Well,
right,
and the YouTuber, they all get caught copyright stuff anyway, so they don't play music.
Yeah. All right.
Unless
so
it's, free of...
There we go. All right. Let's take a look. Dang.
There you go.
This is just
see?
like a standard watch, too.
And he's got little... But
So what was this guy's name again? Let's see if we can get...
I don't know. Normally, I don't ever see his face.
Oh, he's got
Is this
music on there.
wristwatch revival?
Oh, yeah. Wristwatch revival.
Okay, this might, yeah. The more recent ones he doesn't seem to show his face, but
Okay.
yeah, you can kind of see
Oh, there's his
all
mic. He's got
those-
Sure. Nice.
all those tiny little.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look at that
What
watch.
is this? Is
What
this
that?
about how he makes his stuff?
I don't know. Look at that watch, though. What is that thing?
Yeah, crazy.
It's like an old Egyptian bracelet.
It looks like
Whoa.
well, no. I say it looks like a reverso, but that's just because it's rectangular. There's a very popular watch that was rectangular, and it's called a reverso, and it actually the face of it will flip over, and
Let's see if I can
yeah.
get
So
to
I
it.
guess it was a neat watch from back in the day.
There you go. Wristwatch revival. Yeah, pretty cool. So I'll leave that up for now.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
Is it playing? It should be playing. Oh, okay, there we go. We're good. Nice. Very cool, man. Yeah, I'm going to check that out because it's very interesting.
It would
see
be,
how all that
yeah,
works.
just to watch one full complete
Yeah.
process, because you kind of get an appreciation of the, I guess, the time and effort that at some point, obviously it's refined over the years, but at some point all that had to be calculated.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
calculated to the point that the adjustments they make are very fine, and they can calibrate the watch so that it gets pretty close to, you can lose maybe seconds a day,
Yeah.
or maybe minutes or so a month, but some of them are very accurate. So here's a Japanese brand, Seiko. Everybody probably has heard of Seiko.
Yep.
And there's within the overarching brand of Seiko is a watch. It's like a sub brand. It's their highest tier. It's called Grand Seiko.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about these. Yeah.
They have a combination of an automatic watch with a quartz regulator, I think, something like that. Again, as I don't know about all this precise, exactly. I'm not a watchmaker. I'm not a jeweler or anything like that.
Right.
I just like watches. So, but yeah, they have, I think, the most accurate automatic movements.
Okay. Which
But it's because
Grand Seiko.
it uses a combination of that automatic and quartz to time it so precisely. But yeah, I think they're supposed to be one of the most accurate movements or most accurate brands that you can buy. But yeah, Grand Seikos are in the neighborhood of a Rolex price. You might spend 7, 10, 12, just depends on which one. I don't think many of them are below $5 or $6 grand. So I think
I'm only
entry
seeing older
price.
ones.
Yeah.
Do you know
you can get
what a newer one would be? Grand Seiko, like a model? GMT? That comes
You
up.
can look up a GMT. You can look up. I know a friend of mine has
Oh, there you go.
one with a snowflake dial.
Here we go. This one looks
There's
great.
another one.
Ooh.
So obviously it's Japanese themed. So a buddy of mine has one that has the Sakura dial. The Sakura dial. It's like the color of the cherry blossom slightly. And it's a pretty watch. It's made of titanium.
I just pulled up one in the meantime while I find it.
Yeah.
This one looks pretty cool. The one I just showed.
Yeah. They have a lot of cool stuff though. But sadly, this brand suffers from what the other ones do. Like we were talking earlier, once you buy them new, then you go to resell and you lose a couple grand sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So it's sadly such a great watch and great craftsmanship, but not as desirable.
Yeah, this one, it actually does look really cool. Hang on, let me see. I don't know if this is what you're talking about.
There's so many. They do have a lot of creativity with their dials. I mean, I think they have some of the coolest dials in the watch industry.
This one here. There you go. I don't know if that's the one you were talking about, but
yeah, yep, that's probably it.
The Shunbun, the vernal.
I don't know about Shunbun, but is that the? Yeah, I mean
that's how you would say it.
It looks a lot like that.
Yeah.
You can't zoom in, can you?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
I can't figure out.
Well, I don't have a picture of it, but yeah, so it's roughly something like that. And it should. The dial is slightly pink, so if you see it, like, you might not notice right away, but it's a very subtle shade. But yeah, it's a popular one, and I think it's one of the few they've come out with that have that pink. Yeah. So I think that's what they call it, the spring drive.
So do you know about this? Let's see. Speaking of mechanical devices, do you know about that thing?
Are you going to show me a... What? Oh, yeah. Well, I forgot what it's called.
Yeah,
though,
they keep saying it's an ancient computer, but it's really just a navigational tool, I think.
Astrolabe?
Yeah.
An astrolabe, right?
Is that what it is? I think, I think that is what it's called.
That was brought up on Rogan at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess they had found something. I'm just assuming it was a shipwreck area, and they had, I guess, 3D scanned it to determine what was inside and realized that it was. Yeah. It could have been used for astrology or guidance or something. Or
it's from what it seems like it would make sense that it was some kind of navigational tool. So
yeah, that's pretty neat though. I mean see, I don't agree with the mainstream narrative that we were cavemen or that we slowly evolved over millions of years and there was no technology until basically 200 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it was basically horse and buggy until I don't believe that. Yeah, well, I mean, look at any building that was built in the last 1,000 years, and it's like their Gothic cathedrals are amazing. To me, that seems like one of the most ornate things you could get. And the claim is that was built before the power tool, before power, with a horse and buggy. And it's like, you're telling me these buildings are
with chisels, man. I
mean, the time and the effort that it would take to do that, and the accuracy too. I mean, I don't know if they've scanned them. I'm sure at some point they do a 3D laser scan with the technology we have now.
Well, I was thinking about, like,
I think it's hard to argue. I don't know. I mean, if you go along with the mainstream belief, but it's like some things just don't make sense, because you might argue, one of the questions that gets asked is, well, why don't we make buildings like that today? And it's, well, I think you probably could, but it would cost way more. Yeah. And it would take way longer.
Well, imagine, like, the amount of people that are actually doing things, meaning like innovating and creative enough to do something like that, for one. There's probably a lot of them nowadays, but back then there couldn't have been. Like, well, I'm pretty sure there were a lot of retards back then. Like, in comparison to, like, a Leonardo da Vinci, like,
well, we don't know. We just don't know.
They're just,
but there seems to be
land and shoveling shit, and like there weren't a lot of guys building stuff to that degree. I don't imagine.
Yeah, well, I guess you would have to be just like anything else. You'd have to be trained. That would have to be your trade.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if you were doing it, maybe your dad was doing it and he taught you or something. So I don't know. Again, I wasn't there. I don't know.
Speaking of tools, I wanted wanted to ask you what you feel like is the most important either tool or item for you as a man. Like what's something that you're like, this is something that's a necessity. And it can be a tool.
And it has to be a tool.
No, it can be any kind of item. So,
because I use a lot of tools
so not
to do work on the car, the bike. I mean,
yeah.
But a tool that I use every day would be an automobile. That's a big one.
Yeah.
In my shop, I have, of course, I have tools that work on stuff, but I mean, is a pen considered a tool? A pencil? A phone?
Yeah,
I think the phone now.
I feel like
is an essential tool.
Essential tool.
Yeah, but as a man, I mean, I think you would probably have to have a hammer. You gotta have a hammer in your shop. Do I use it that often? Yeah. No,
but you can fix a lot of things with a hammer.
Well, what's funny is like I actually use my air pressure gauge.
There he is, just hammering away on her.
And just hammering away.
I walk in and I see him just going to town, hammering away on her.
Yeah, hammering away.
Jackhammer me.
So I use a bunch of stuff to maintain the motorcycle and the vehicles. So I couldn't say the most important tool because it really depends what you do. But I mean, I would have to say abstractly your mental capacity has to be the number one tool.
Yeah,
and then your body by extension, you hopefully are physically fit enough to use your body in the ways that you need to.
Oh yeah, as you clearly are on the screen there.
If that's manly enough answer for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, aside from Metamucil, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like
a bottle.
Probably a journal.
A bottle opener.
Yeah, bottle
and
opener.
And then for those.
Yeah. No, you need a keychain bottle opener.
You need a keychain bottle opener somehow. You got to crack open that cold one.
Yeah.
So these are just essential tools.
Yeah. But I was going to say because you mentioned pen there, like probably the journal. I feel like that's probably been the most useful actual like physical tool versus like stretching. So as an old man,
they say
I feel
the
like
pen
stretching is really important.
Than the sword. So I mean, for probably hundreds of years there, we were using pen and paper and or the sword, etc., to get things done. And you could argue that the journal, or the process of writing is critical.
Yeah.
To
it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about with the. There probably weren't a lot of people back in the day being like creatively like designing stuff, mainly because not everybody could read and write either. Like, so.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine, right? Like you're like, somebody just can't understand these words that are written on the paper. Yeah. Why are you trying to read that word?
Yeah, you're some kind of fag.
Rehabilitation.
Well, I mean, because even like not even that long ago. So I would consider my dad to have been like a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
And like we happened to go to college like similar times, and he hadn't been in school for however many years, didn't finish high school.
20 years.
So like, yeah. And,
because he joined the Marine Corps when he was 17.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
wow.
So he spent all his time in the military, and then when he went back to college and, his 60s, 50s,
using his GI Bill. Is that what he did?
Yeah. And so he got thrown in because he was, he had already been pretty good at math from like construction.
Yeah.
And like, just being a person, being a man. And so when he got thrown into the math, like you take the test, the entrance exam, and so he got thrown into like the higher math class, which was algebra or some kind of algebra.
Okay.
And he like legitimately asked me. He was really confused, and he's like, "When did they start putting letters in math?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "What do these letters mean?"
Oh no.
Yeah, and so I had to explain it to him, and like I landed on like, oh, it's like you know construction, so let's talk about it in those terms. So if you're gonna build, a truss or something like that, how would you do that? And he drew it out on a little piece of paper, and then I put letters on there, and I'm like, that's all it is. And he's like, oh,
yep,
the blanks are the letters,
which is a representative character.
So he just had them as blanks, and I'm like, no, they're just you just put a letter there.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. So it's like it's amazing what you could do. Obviously somebody taught him how to do that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they probably had their own system for it, and there was a time where you didn't necessarily need to know geometry to do that kind of stuff, I guess. So
yeah. Well, and he was a communications
radio
expert,
man,
right?
Yeah.
So he was
first
setting
recon,
up
I think,
towers, and he was running probably comms lines, and tuning in the radio, or I mean, it's not rocket science, but it is top secret. So
yeah, right. Yeah, you gotta make sure you get that fill right.
There you go.
What I don't know what they were using
secret
back then.
code.
Would have been called a fill back then?
I don't even know, man. I don't.
I mean,
that's all I know is
because when I
the
got
crypto
out,
guys
they had changed
would have figured out something.
Yeah, they had changed to that mini version of the radio pack. It was like a third of the size or something like that.
The Singar was pretty small.
Yeah, is
that what you're talking about?
Maybe, I can't. It's been so long, but it used to be the little rectangular box, and then by the time I got it, it was like a third of that size.
Oh, sure, yeah. Because you were right at that transition.
Yeah,
into the 2000s.
They're still wearing the camo BDUs.
Oh, where they had I was wearing them for the first 3 years, and then they finally changed over to the ACU. So I got the pleasure of wearing the BDUs for basic training, AIT, and then 2 or 3 years of my drill time.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat. So yeah, I've had three uniforms.
Nice.
All maybe they'll change another one before I get out.
You get to the orange, like
the jumpsuit, the orange, the full orange.
You just get like a silver one for Space Force or whatever.
I actually talked to a recruiter about Space Force, and he said, "Yeah, we can bring you in, and we can waiver your age, but you have to start out basically." I could not keep my rank.
Oh, fuck
so
that.
he's like, you'll have to get busted down. I'm like, no, hell no.
Right.
Like, yeah, right. Go in as an E6 or well, actually in the Air Force it would be a master sergeant. I think an E7 is a master sergeant. So
flight attendant class 3.
Flight attendant, yeah. Buckle your safety belts. Turn off all electronic devices. Make sure your tray table's in the upright.
Blown into that little whistle.
What? I don't know. What is that?
To blow up the thing if it doesn't inflate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You got to get those lips nice and puckered tight.
Yeah. Wet the lips. Get them ready.
Get them all in there. You got to suck on it first. You got to get it lubed up. And then you got to blow.
Nope. I don't know what trainings you went to.
A lot of slap ass going on.
Yeah. Grab ass.
It was a different time.
Yep. Surely.
I definitely recall some things that would not happen today.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, because you would get in trouble today.
Yeah.
You would get EO. You would get some sharp training class.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it'd be in a classroom with a projector or something.
Did they have that back when you probably first went in? They probably didn't have Sharp, the sexual harassment.
Oh, I thought you were
prevention.
talking about like sharp and like strict punishment. That's the thing.
No,
What the hell's that?
They call it a different class now.
Oh,
It's been for the last probably 10. Actually, I think this came about because of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. There was so much sexual harassment going on, they had to revamp the
no.
program. So about 04, 05, they started pushing it out, at least to our units, where we were finally getting the training mandated. But yeah, we had to do a lot of sexual harassment stuff. And then I said something in front of these female soldiers one day. And like we were friends, like we would get along well during training and stuff. But I said something that was somewhat like sexist or whatever, and I caught myself. I was like, "Oh,
Sure.
sorry. Okay, I probably shouldn't say that." Yeah, well, I mean, I was just
I guess it
talking,
worked.
and I was a E4. I was just talking shit like normal.
It worked then.
Oh, actually, this was the same training we had. We were on annual training. And I was actually on the same. We were at Camp Blanding when I was with Matt's unit too.
Yeah.
So our unit was working. We were doing some convoy training or something, and Matt's unit was there. And his first sergeant said to ours, "Hey, we got a few extra seats if you guys want to ride along." So I was like, "All right, let's go." And I hopped in the Humvee with Matt, and we were just blasting through the woods like
as you can only do in the Army.
I know you can and as you can only do it apparently in the infantry, because our units were like slow, careful, creeping through the woods, not a shot fired. They were like on the radio, go, 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 and they're like just
running
shooting
down
out the
trees.
windows, and they were like full speed in the Humvees, and they even wrecked, like someone ran in the back of someone else. While we were in it, like someone stopped short and they didn't see, and they ran in the back of them. It's
grab
like,
those,
oh
grab
my
those
goodness.
titties.
They were driving way too close. But yeah, so I was like, okay, so this is how the infantry guys do it. I was like, I don't want to be in a normal unit anymore.
Right.
But yeah, they had the 50 cal there and the saw and a Mark 19s and a bunch of stuff on the range, and we got to shoot.
Yeah.
Just because they were shooting it. So that was pretty cool, right? But yeah. So Matt's unit was there. What was that girl's name? Jenny. Her boyfriend was there because he was in Matt's unit.
Dang, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah.
Was that Jenny? The high voice Jenny?
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
Oh no,
yeah, he was
that definitely
there.
would have been. Yeah.
And Matt. Yeah. So it was the same unit.
Yeah.
They were in the same, I think, Delta company or whatever they were.
Yeah. Actually, hang on.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull up an Army dude.
It's kind of neat seeing.
Hang on. Let me see if I can write today's Army images. Here we go.
But this is things that you do when you're an E4. I mean, we didn't do any of this, and definitely not now. My unit's so boring. We don't do anything cool.
Yeah, this is about right.
We don't even have a requirement to go to the range, if you can believe that. We do. We do not have to qualify.
What? What do you? Do? What's the point?
As an analyst, our headquarters is determined. With our MOS doesn't have to qualify.
That is
so
insane.
it's essentially, they basically save money because it's time and money, right? So we're going to the range, we're spending money on ammo. Now, if we can fall in and go with another unit and we can use some of their ammo, then that's great. But otherwise, they're not paying for us to go for a weekend to qualify.
I can't believe it. That's
insane. It's hard to believe, right?
That's insane.
But yeah, I have not qualified in years.
This is Ashy. Today's Army. Hang on. This is on Instagram. This is what comes up when I look up today's Army.
Oh no. It's going to be some rainbow soldier.
Oh, hang on. It's going to make me do this. So this is ash.e.e. There we go. Is it working?
Yeah, I believe it.
That is like
that's
line
the one
3,
half of today's army.
if you look up today's army.
The chicks that are
now. What?
Dude, you know how bad it was back in the day. Imagine what it's like nowadays with these girls.
Well, I think I kind of got out on the beginning.
Yeah, you got out before. Well, I mean, this is more of a recent development in the past 10 years, I'd say.
Because this is. Yeah, let me.
There's a new caliber of soldier, and some of the old people, and now I'm one of them. They're like, and now I see why when I got in, the old people were like, these kids these days, because times have changed, things are getting easier. Yeah. We're not hard on soldiers anymore.
Hard on.
We're just hard on reviews. That's it.
Yeah. That's why I made this channel. Got to represent.
Yeah, you gotta go for a little bit of discipline and
get on down to the big PX.
Hard work.
All right, this is what I remember. I don't know if this is an actual ad or not, but "Be All You Can Be" was when I signed up.
Yeah,
I still have the thing.
That was in the 90s, right?
Yeah, because I would have signed up in the 90s. Yeah.
Be all that you can be
in the army.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then it became.
I still have my original joining the army booklet that has all the bumper sticker and everything on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I should probably stick that on my truck.
Yeah. Wow, dude.
Be all you can be.
People would salute you as you drove by, probably. The real old school soldiers. Yeah. Well, and I'm glad that the Marine Corps hasn't changed over the years to be something gay, because it's just been Semper Fi as long as I can remember. So good, keep it that way, because I mean that's the last hope. If the Marine Corps goes,
we need some light.
Yeah, if they
somebody's got to hold that flag.
If they put a rainbow flag on there, nobody's joining. No, they probably get a lot of people too.
I know. I feel like their numbers would go way up.
Well, the physical requirements for the Marines initially is a lot harder. I mean, but if you're any
3 miles, right?
Fit
something like that
teenager, yeah, you can accomplish that in your 20s for sure. You can do it's 10 to 12 pull-ups, run 3 miles, and do crunches, and then I think you still got to do push-ups too or something. I don't even know.
Marine Corps requirements.
Yeah,
because it was even back when I went in, it was pretty lax in comparison. For the
when you're 20 years old and you weigh 150 pounds, yeah, you can do pull-ups. But what I'm saying is, fast forward 20 years, and all the kids sit around and play video games. No one goes outside anymore. They drink Mountain Dew all day and eat Takis chips. Well, they're probably coming in with a BMI a lot higher than average,
sure.
Than back in the 90s. Which, I mean, there was fat kids in the 90s, but it wasn't like every kid.
Yeah. But
I can't imagine what it's like.
Basic training is for. Get you fit, man.
Yeah,
let's see.
Well,
pull-ups.
Some people didn't make it.
So a male applicant needs to be able to do 3 pull-ups or 34 push-ups in 2 minutes.
Really?
For the Marine Corps. Now, that being said, anybody that hasn't done pull-ups in a long time, that is a lot more than you think it is.
Yeah, 3 lock to lock. So you got to fully extend. You got to actually do a real pull-up.
Yeah, I'm sure they're talking about real ones. And the push-ups,
that is not easy.
Whatever. I feel
if you've never done them.
But if you haven't done them, 3 pull-ups is going to be tough. Running, so 1.5 miles in 13 minutes and a half. That sounds like a lot.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so that's basically an 8-minute mile, a little over.
Yeah,
that was the same standard that the Army had, which basically we had to run. So we went from reception to basic training. So just to get out of reception, you had to do the minimum, which was I think you had to do like 12 or 13 push-ups. You had to run a mile in 8 minutes, a little over 8 minutes. Almost, I was like 8:30 or something, a little over 8, I thought. And then you had to do like 15 sit-ups or something. You had to do just a little bit.
Yeah.
But, of course,
But 13,
once you got
13
there,
and a half, that still seems like a long time to me.
you had to do, well, it's a mile and a half, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's true.
basically, it's a little over 8 minute pace, which
8
minute pace, again, if you're 20 and you weigh 140 pounds,
no problem.
it's not bad. But if you're
If
you're
me
20,
now,
25,
I'm going to do
and
about
you're
10 minute pace. That's going to be 13 and a half for
200
like, half
pounds.
mile for me.
Well, there's no big kids that are going to run 8 minute mile that never ran before.
Well, they also have a plank here, and it's not the it's the push up position plank.
Yeah.
For 40 seconds.
40.
But hang on, wait a second.
Push up. Wait. Locked. Your arms are fully locked
That's
out.
what the picture shows here.
So you're essentially, but okay. Well, I mean that's not terrible.
Yeah. But it says
Because you're not on your elbows, right?
Yeah, this looks like a fully extended.
Not like a normal plank.
Yeah.
Fully, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it says
Not
40-second
terrible.
plank, and then it says a minute and 3-second minimum. So I don't understand.
Yeah. So our new ACFT includes a plank, and the minimum is 1 minute. I think 1 minute 30 seconds.
So why does it say 40-second plank?
Well, that's the Marine Corps, and that might be their boot camp start requirement.
Oh, maybe. I mean,
Now, by the time you're done, you're going to be able to
is,
plank for 3 minutes.
Yeah, they're probably talking about like the minimum afterwards or something.
Yeah, so when you leave reception, you have to do the minimum, which is probably 40 seconds or something. But yeah, because even the Army minimum is like it's like a minute or a minute and 30 to do the plank.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And I think if you max it, it's like 3 or 4 minutes is max if you want to get 100 in that category.
Yeah.
So yeah,
what are they doing here though? Sorry. The pictures they have of these people are not physically fit.
What are you looking at? Marine Corps still or Army?
Yeah.
Oh, don't look at Navy. Those Navy guys, they don't look like they work out hardly at all.
No, it's like it's hard to see because it's like behind the text, and so it's like the image in behind all that, so it's kind of like faded.
Oh,
but there's like no muscle on any of them. It's like I remember like when I was joining, that's all they showed were like muscular people. Like,
have you seen the new Army commercial that has come out since Trump?
No, I don't watch
It's
TV.
a dude. All right, so there's a male soldier in PT uniform or ACFT, ACFUs or whatever, APFUs, whatever they're calling. And he's like deadlifting like 400 pounds or 500 pounds or something. And then he does this carrying a rack with like another 300 pounds on it. And then at the end, he crosses his arms and says, "Stronger people are harder to kill." And that's the end of the commercial.
I mean, he ain't wrong.
Versus the woke commercial that they had under Biden, where it was talking about the story of, of course, a soldier from California with 2 moms and the bravery of the 2 moms. And that's how she got so brave, is because her mom was so brave, both of them.
Because it's through osmosis? That's how bravery works?
No. I mean, yeah, but I just really wonder how the physical fitness looks with some of these people, because...
Let's see. Well, I'm going to pull up something that's going to be the gold standard for the Army. Here we go. This looks like a good one. Boom. Oh, what is it? Oh, these stupid ads. There we go. All right, I'm going to pull this up and we'll figure out our way out, I think. Because we've been talking for like 2 hours. That is the gold standard.
Damn, 2 hours.
Right there. That's what a man looks like. That's what an army man looks like.
Who is that guy?
That's every man's man.
That's every army guy.
Yeah,
You're
right there.
That's right.
That's what they think they look like. Some of them do.
No sleeves.
Yeah, just Dutch right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a whole lot for taking the time and talking to me today. It was awesome. Talk about a bunch of stuff. We talked about essentially everything that we said we were going to talk about. So it's interesting how that worked out.
We didn't talk about cars. So there's still,
actually, that's funny.
So,
the one thing that was like the opening we were going to do. We didn't talk about cars.
Well, it's funny though because there's so much random stuff to talk about, and time flies. So, yeah, maybe another time.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely have you on again. But yeah, it was awesome. So for now, I'm gonna close it off, and then I'll end the stream, and then I'll officially close it off with you on Skype. All right.
Sounds good.
So just hang in there for just a minute.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. All right, everyone, thank you very much for watching the Mailman Podcast. We'll be on next week as usual. We have changed the time just a little bit. We're going to start an hour earlier from now on. So 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's American time, Eastern. 9 p.m. There we go. And on that note, don't let your meat loaf.
Mailman Podcast coming to you. M-A-L-E coming to you. Talking about minutes to phone internet. If you don't like it, you can go to hell. Mailman Podcast coming to you. M-A-L-E coming to you.